Kaspa can literally make you a millionaire only if you know when you should actually buy and sell. You can't just get in at a random price and expect to make 100 or 1000x and turn $1,000 into $1 million. So in this video, this is exactly what I'm going to show you, which price points you should be looking to potentially buy so you can have a chance to pull out hundreds of X's from your investment, what you should be doing if these price points are not met, what is a realistic expectation for a bull market peak, and my analysis behind it so you can maximize your returns, why do I think the current price of Kaspa is bad for accumulation, and why the price will go down from here, and again my analysis behind that, and so much more valuable stuff you would want to know if you actually want to make it during the next euphoria phase and not make 10-20k at best while you know that the sky is the limit with crypto. We are all here for the volatility, but you must know how to play this dangerous game, otherwise you'll just feed the bigger fish. Alright, so before I begin, I want to point out that in this video I'm not gonna talk about the fundamentals of Kaspa, what it does, its features and etc. And I'll focus on its chart and when it's a good time to buy and sell. However, for those of you who have no idea what is Kaspa, I'll introduce you to this coin super quickly by just saying that Kaspa is one of the fastest, decentralized and fully scalable layer 1s in the world, and also world's first block DAG with single second block time. But if you want to learn more, you can watch my top 3 layer 1 crypto coins video that will pop up in the upper right corner. I'll leave a link in the description as well if you want to watch it after you finish with this one. But let's dive deep into Kaspa's chart now and find out how we can squeeze the most out of this coin. So to be perfectly honest, this move right here actually caught me off guard. I did not expect such a strong upside move when Bitcoin was quite weak and basically going down at that time. But here we are. Kaspa is trading at around 7 cents and it's looking super strong. However, to put things into perspective, I'm gonna draw this channel so we can better visualize the price actions path. But I wanna say that this doesn't mean the price will stay within this channel and it won't break up or down at some point. I'm doing this just to better visualize the trend and give us possible ideas for future price points. Moreover, my general expectations are that the lower trend line will be almost certainly broken and the price will go down quite a bit. Now I know that most people will probably disagree and won't like the fact that I'm short-term bearish, even though the price is currently trending up and puts new all-time highs as we speak. But you must acknowledge that the price doesn't go up forever and it eventually goes down too. We are not in a bull market just yet, even if your favorite influencer told you so. But I'm not gonna claim some random stuff here and pretend that I got it all figured out, so I'm just gonna show you the reason behind my thoughts. If I pull the Bitcoin chart real quick, you can see these vertical yellow lines that mark the Bitcoin halving, which is also considered the beginning of the next bull market. Prior to those occasions, so far we always had a secondary scare that drops the price of Bitcoin very close to its cycle bottom. Sometimes it comes in less than a year, sometimes in more than a year. In 2015-2016, we didn't have a significant bear market rally like we did in 2019 and like the one we are currently in. The market doesn't repeat exactly the same, but it often rhymes. There is still plenty of time until the next halving, and also, I want to point out that after the halving, the price of Bitcoin doesn't shoot right away. In fact, it takes around half a year to really pick up a pace and get everyone excited. So considering what we said so far and what we see on the chart, I just don't see how the price will continue to trend up from here and slowly grind to the bull market without having a decent pullback to around these levels here. If it doesn't go down, that would be a bull market behavior, and we are definitely not in a one yet. We have all sorts of things to worry about, like the stuff that is happening in Ukraine, the recent conflict in Israel, the issues with the economy, and so on and so forth. And as I mentioned the economy, before I show you the price points you should be looking to buy Kaspa and where you should be looking to sell after, I want to show you another reason backed by data why I think that the markets will go down significantly before we enter the next bull phase. So investors are heavily focused on the interest rates and point to the pause of rate hiking by the Fed as something bullish. But is it indeed bullish? Well, we're gonna have a look at previous rate hiking cycles and see if there are any patterns and if could they be useful in navigating the current market. So unfortunately, during the lifespan of Bitcoin, there is only one rate hiking cycle, so we have only one data point to look at, which generally won't provide a lot of useful information. But since there is a very high correlation between crypto and stocks, we'll have a look at S&P 500 for more data. But as you can see, December 1st, 2018 was the last rate hike by the Fed during the previous cycle. The Fed kept the interest rates at that level until June 2019, and they started to cut in July. If I go back to the Bitcoin chart, what we can see is that Bitcoin found its bottom exactly when the Fed stopped raising interest rates, and basically the market rallied during this whole period of interest rates going sideways. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, it literally matches date by date. And moreover, what happened in July? The Fed started to cut interest rates, right? And funny enough, this is exactly what marked the top of this rally and the continuous downside price action of Bitcoin in the next couple of months. months. I don't want to point out the obvious here on the chart, as this was a black swan event and no one expected that, but you can see that basically the sudden drop in interest rates matches perfectly with what happened in the markets. But like I said, I'm gonna quickly switch to the S&P 500 as it has more data to work with, and we can have a look at other rate hiking cycles. October 1st, 2017 marked the all-time high back then. What happened on the same date? The Fed started to cut interest rates, of course, and that continued until December 2008. What happened during this period? The market was going down heavily. But what about the rate hiking cycle before this one? In January 2001, the Fed started to cut interest rates again, and what happened to the S&P 500? It plummeted again. Like, this stuff happens over and over, and people will always call for bull markets while we're in this phase with no more rate hiking and get everyone excited and all that. But you can see what the reality is, and that this is just part of the bear market. Now, I don't want to say that this is 100% what is going to happen again, but I form my opinion based on multiple factors, and considering everything I said so far in this video, I just think the market will go down eventually before it goes to new all-time highs, no matter how high this current pump goes. So with that out of the way, let's finally see when would be a good time to buy Kaspa and when you should be looking to potentially sell. So looking at the chart, I can immediately see a few major support areas that the price could drop to, and the first one is this one here at around 3 cents. However, I wouldn't recommend buying in this area, as in my opinion the price will drop much further. The next area that is worth having under your radar is this one at around 2 cents. This is where it's a good time to dip your toes and get in with a fraction of your portfolio, as the upside potential is very decent. However, the next level at around 1.5 cents is even more tempting, and you should be looking to deploy a very significant portion here. This level is amazing for a long-term buy, and if you don't want to wait for lower prices, you can easily go all in right here. And even though you would have a chance to make huge gains getting it at this level, the insane gains are made only by a few who are willing to wait. So I know that this sounds crazy to think that Kaspa could drop down to this level, but this is crypto and this level is definitely not out of the possibilities. I would personally position all my remaining cash at this level if we ever reach it, and just log off for a year or so. Now, in terms of potential returns in the bull market and when you should be looking to sell, the only way we can kinda set expectations and price targets is by looking at similar coins during the last bull market. If we want to be more accurate, we need to be in the actual bull market and look at various indicators to figure out where Bitcoin is in the cycle and how much gas has left in the tank. But since we are not even close to the bull market, the only way to set expectations is, like I said, look at similar coins. During the last bull run, Solana managed to reach almost $80 billion market cap, and it was only a year-old coin. The blockchain was down so many times during that time due to the inability to handle such pressure, but still got to this insane market cap. Cardano almost reached a $100 billion market cap, but it didn't even have a working product yet. The XRP's lawsuit was still ongoing, but it still managed to reach over $80 billion market cap. So looking at all these numbers, I think it's safe to say that there is a probability that Kaspa could reach a $100 billion market cap too. But to make our expectations more realistic and stay more on the safer side in our predictions, I would say that the peak of Kaspa's market cap would be half of that, so $50 billion. And putting that into perspective, a $1 billion market cap in Kaspa will be equivalent to around 5 cents per coin. Of course, considering that 75% of the supply is already in circulation. So if we measure 50x from 5 cents, which will represent a $50 billion market cap, we can see that this will put the price of Kaspa at around $2.5. So buying at around these current prices, I think it could pull out only around 35x. And I say only because of the possibilities that crypto is giving us. I'm not trying to say that 35x is like nothing. So if you want the juicy gains of hundreds of x's, you have to buy lower. And buying at this level could potentially give you around 75x. However, the next level that we marked goes beyond 100x and things really start to get interesting. The level after this one could potentially put our returns just below 200x. And on the last one, we are going well above 200x. And now we are talking. That's where the real money is made. Of course, if Kaspa manages to reach a $100 billion market cap, which would be $5 per coin, things are going beyond crazy. And I don't even want to talk about this potential scenario because right now I have no idea how likely that is. But what if Kaspa doesn't pull back to these levels? Well, even though it's highly unlikely to continue go up for the next 2 years or so without any significant pullbacks, I always say that you must have a bullish scenario and a bearish scenario. So the bearish scenario is clear at this point. We wait for these levels and DCA. But what are we going to do in the bullish scenario if the price doesn't go back down? Well, I showed you what is my price prediction for the top of the future bull market, and basically, if you are happy with these potential returns, buy at whatever level you are satisfied. However, if 20-30x is not not what you're aiming for, honestly, just move on to another coin. There are so many good altcoins out there. It would be just insane to bet that Kaspa will make 2 or 300x from this point. Like, you have to catch a fundamentally strong coin that is in its lows, not when it's at all-time highs. That's common sense, I think. There is a reason for the saying, don't marry an altcoin. Kaspa is an amazing project, but if you can't get in at a good price, just find another amazing project. And lastly, I want to emphasize that nothing in this video is financial advice. This is only what I would do, and I don't recommend anyone else doing the same. But like I said, once we get into the bull market and certain indicators provide me with the relevant data, we can have more data-driven discussions and actually useful suggestions. If you don't want to miss that, as well as a lot more crypto and money-making content, consider subscribing to my channel. You can also watch my recent video that popped up on the screen. And with that being said, thank you guys a lot for watching and supporting me, and I'll see you in the next one.